Oh, hi, everybody.
Oh, hi. Hey, everybody, this is Linkara.
And Iron Liz.
And we are recording a commentary for Suburban Nights.
Yes. This is one of many, but hopefully we'll be able to give you a unique perspective, largely since I was working more on the production side of things. So I was there for pretty much all the filming and all of the the nitty-gritty, as it were.
We open up with Bill. May God rest his soul.
Actually, we ran across Bill when we were filming the second day. He's actually incredibly bright. I don't think making him a stoner does him any justice, but he was really interesting to listen to, and just when he was talking about the research he was doing. And as you can see, it was not at it was incredibly windy pretty much every single day we were filming.
True that, but the nice thing about the wind is that, like in the last part when we have those group shots, we have a lot of bits where, since we all have like capes and dress and everything, it has a cool wind effect.
That's true, but you can see Orlando was holding onto his hat, and if you'll notice in the last shots of the battle scene, we actually had the witch hold onto her hat as well, because without it, they blew away. Was it Phalis who did the special effects for this, or?
It was Phalis and Matt Burkhart, the former Apollo Z hack, both of whom did a spectacular job on these effects. Just beautiful work. I mean, sure, we're not Industrial Light and Magic, of course, but sure as hell better than what I can do.
Absolutely. I mean, in the rough cut versions of the movie, when Doug sent it out, we got more or less the added in special effects, but we didn't see everything in there. So, yeah, I do enjoy how they came out. So,
dude. If there's one thing that I hope gets changed for the DVD edition, I could hear it just fine, because, you know, I'm perfectly fine just adjusting the audio on my speakers and whatnot, but a lot of people complained that they couldn't hear Orlando during these bits because he was speaking very softly. And, yeah, I could see where they're coming from.
I think, too, with this version, this year, the production really tried something new in that they tried to give a more story-based, story-based review, or movie, or what have you. The Kick-Assia, as awesome as it is, it's kind of just a lampoon of each character.
It's meant to be just a fun Looney Tunes farce.
Right.
Versus this, which is supposed to be meant as a comedy, action comedy piece.
Mm-hmm. And I think it, in that regard, the story works well, because most veterans who are going to be watching this are going to know everybody's character, or at least know of them, but adding, you know, these unknowable elements like Bill or some of the other extras that they had does help build the mystique a little bit behind it.
Half the fun of these anniversaries, I think, here's the thing. I do kind of regret the fact that I watch a lot on That Guy with the Glasses, and yet I still can't watch everything. I do kind of feel bad for the fact that I can't go back now from the perspective of someone who's a non-fan and enjoy these for the first time.
Oh, and there's the blood splatter. That turned out really well, actually.
Yeah, some people complain that it didn't look good. It looks fine to me. It looks great.
Considering how we basically had no budget, I'd say it's pretty good.
Anything goes for the car explosion.
Yep.
Boom! And now the epic credit sequence with Skitch's theme song. And yes, it does have a kind of Pirates of the Caribbean feel to it, but I like that. It feels adventurous.
Right. I think, personally, I think with last year, Skitch did a really good job on kind of the a Civil War feel, a little bit to Kick-Assia, kind of the rugged warrior sort of theme, but this one does capture a different feel to it. I think he does really good work with it.
And of course, CR's awesome drawings here of everybody. I didn't even know he was doing this. There's There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that was going on we didn't know about in terms of like the final product. This Benzai's girlfriend Marion doing the ending artwork. I think there was one or two other bits that I can't think of right now.
Well, there are actually several scenes that were cut from the script that included additional actors and actresses. One part that was effectively cut was about a zombie woman named Mildred.
Well, the zombie woman got reconfigured into the witch warrior.
Yep. And
well, yeah, that's right. What the first draft of the script originally, Phalis was going to get bitten
by the
zombie woman, and that would trigger his transformation into more of a hulking zombie figure. And then I think he was still going to do the reveal of, come on, guys, it was just a character I was playing.
Yep, he did that, but I believe there was another person that they had to remove from the folks. The original script probably would have been about a 3-hour movie.
Yeah,
I'm thinking there were additional pieces that they literally cut for time. I'll mention it too when we get to the scenes, but one of the scenes in particular that I can remember, we almost didn't film it, but that was also because of the first filming day. But we'll get to that.
we would exhaust our entire commentary supply all in the first part.
Right.
Oh.
And this is the first time I think, at least in a large-scale production like that, you do see some of the original people that are kind of in the workings of the movie. So, like, the Joe here, gotta love that look on his face.
I want a free car, I'm gonna boast about it to everybody.
But that's Mike Michaud. He's the head honcho.
Michaud, our boss.
Yep, he's the executive producer right there.
And Joe just told him off.
There he goes. Yep, and this is outside the Walkers so...
Yep, out in No-Namia.
Yep.
We're really kind of idiots, aren't we?
Well, this scene actually, if I recall correctly, this was shot at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And everybody here, the coffee that Lindsay's holding, that's actually coffee.
She's always drinking coffee.
Right.
She's a coffee addict.
But more to it than that, it was just, it was that early, and it was more out of necessity. Shortly after this scene, I think, shortly after this scene, Holly and I went out to get breakfast, so...
And a fine job you did.
Well, it's kind of I think for next year, they're going to have a bit more streamlined how they do things in terms of catering, because the first meal we had was McDonald's, and we had menus out for people, and so they would individually write down what they wanted. But the problem being is that we'd have like 25 different orders that we had to arrange at the store and everything else.
Well, we did that for Kikassia as well. Bargo and I originally went out and got orders for everybody. One day, Bargo was always doing the orders and whatnot for Kikassia, and there was always at least one person who was accompanying him on those trips.
Oh God, I think in terms of mugging, Matt is fantastic in this movie.
He got the crazy eyes.
The facial expressions that he has are just priceless.
Better be a boat.
I think the reason actually we had Benzai pop out underneath Brad's legs was because you can't see him in this shot, I don't think.
I think it was actually that he was in the other room and didn't realize we had started filming.
Exactly, because he's not in this shot right now.
And so they hit upon the idea of what if he just like popped up from between Brad's legs?
Yep.
I think they want to do that with another character too, or just like keep Benzai down there the entire time.
Right, and have it be a running thing.
Yeah, but I think what happened was that that we just couldn't get the camera right to do it multiple times. Oh boy, a movie! And Luke Mockery, very mellow and fun individual.
He actually got sick the first couple days.
Yep,
if I recall correctly, he was sleeping through a good part of it in the basement because he had a really bad stomach ache, I think.
Yep, he spread his illness around to a bunch of other people.
Oh yes, the plague. Everybody
the Luke Mockery plague. Yes.
got sick. Either upon returning home or throughout the production?
We didn't, because
Nope.
in preparation for this trip, I brought along a whole bunch of medication.
Oh, there he is. Benzai.
Benzai is Brad's crotch. When I first read the script, I really did. I suggested to Doug, well, why don't we have it be like Laurie Prince doing this? And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. The problem is that that I like to get my dad in on this and have him do this.
Initially, I thought Larry Prince here is played by the Walker's father. I was, again, great look on Rob's face, but I thought he was the shopkeeper in Ed Glazer's
Press start.
Press Start. Yep.
Ah.
And there's Holly. She's the human resources lady. She was the person I was working with.
And she updates the site every single day, and she is so awesome for doing so.
Yeah, the two of us were driving people around, getting food, picking up after people, basically doing everything that you normally wouldn't see. So, actually,
That laptop nailed to the wall.
the
Why?
laptops are actually no, those make sense. I actually asked the the Lego maniac Zach, that's his house. Those are laptops whose screensavers were disabled, and they basically just got permanently damaged. They're old laptops. They're from like the early 90s or late 80s. So they would be stuck with these elaborate colors. And so he bolted them to the wall and plugged them in, and they're like artistic pieces.
Oh, spiffy.
So that's why he put them up there. I think yeah, everybody was wondering about that, and I asked him. But I think they look good. Some of the patterns are very like nebulous and cool looking, so. You just gotta love, too, like, how everybody, it seems, like, in these stories, we all just hate each other, hate Doug. He's kind of like this Napoleonic megalomaniac, you know?
I had to actually add in some of the bits about magic, because Doug does not have the time to watch all of our videos all the time, and so when he suggested there's no such thing as magic, and I just raised my hand and said, yeah, my character like went through this horrible thing involving Silent Hill, and is all about magic and stuff. So yeah, I gotta express myself. Also, actually, the line that I originally suggested was just me holding up the magic gun and saying ahem, because hey, magic gun. He even calls it the magic gun all the time.
If you'll notice, Paw's shirt is actually a David Bowie shirt. And apparently he was originally slated to be...
Jareth from Labyrinth. I did not know that until Edgewario mentioned it in the other commentary.
Which I don't know if it was intentional that he wore that shirt, but I realized it later, and everybody was asking because it's a very feminine looking person on it. So they're, who is that? Oh, it's David Bowie, really?
And there's Spoonie wearing his Samurai Zombie Nation shirt. I should wear my t-shirts more in my videos. Hey people, I've got this t-shirt. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, once again, we decide to go off into parts unknown to follow the nostalgia critic for this legendary journey. Actually, he told us we're going to get fired if we don't do it. I like the fact we do walk away, though, because we're like, no way in hell this is going to work.
Like, Matt is always making weird faces.
He's always smiling. He's happy.
Oh, God. He gets into character, and he doesn't leave character.
And I get how people dislike the fact that in the anniversary specials, he's not the same as he is in his reviews, where he's a lot more serious, a lot more snarky, and a lot more analytical. But the thing to remember with all this is, if we had a real problem with how we were portrayed in these, we wouldn't do it.
Right.
It's not like we're terrified Doug is going to like yell at us and bar us from anything like that. No, we have input.
Right.
We're allowed to say this, and we enjoy this because you know what? We have fun and we think it's funny.
Yeah, and I think this has probably already been answered, but all of the costumes and everybody's parts weren't chosen by the actors. It was part of the script that Doug wrote.
It was a little he did choose them, but we had some back and forth on it. For example, he asked me originally if Camelot really was my favorite movie, which is what I said, and he asked me if I could do a Richard Harris impression and if I can sing, because that goes into the scripting. If I had no ability to sing, then I don't think he would have had me doing the running gag of the singing.
That sword was actually incredibly brittle. It was made of not balsa wood, but something very, very light. Where in retrospect, I'm not surprised it broke in the slightest. Actually, that card that Bargo is holding, we actually lost that.
That's sad. We could have sold that
on the first day. Well, Bargo is very, shall we say, well, his head's in the clouds, it seems like a lot of times. So this was recorded, I think, on after everybody was done shooting, but Bargo, we originally had 5 copies of the script, and I think that everybody signed them, and they might go up on eBay somewhere, but we originally needed highlighters because we had 1 copy of the script, and that was Doug's master copy, and he needed a highlighter to, make sure that he got
his lines
the parts that he had done. So we sent Bargo out to get some highlighters, and he comes back 3 hours later with 5 copies of the script. And no highlighters. So Holly was just so aggravated with him. It's like, I told you to get highlighters and it took you this long? Well, we needed extra. It's just like, if we had given him a cow to trade to market, he'd come back with some magic beans. But Bargo didn't realize either that he went to Kinko's and they do sell copiers or highlighters there. So it was always like that with Bargo. He'd always come back with something different. So
we love you, Bargo.
Oh, we love you too. I'm just
it's just you're a little spacey sometimes.
We're just ribbing on you a little bit. I make mistakes too all the time, but. Again, I think those establishing shots were done on the 3rd day, I think.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me if they did them completely later, though.
Well,
there was plenty of shots that were not done while we were there, just because we had the time crunch, and so anything that we knew could be completed with Doug on his own. The bum was shot on his own, away from us.
Yeah, it's funny. Throughout this entire production, the first day that we all arrived, Doug basically said, let's get this done, let's do whatever, but please don't look up my skirt. Despite the fact that I think every one of us had the unfortunate effect, either through wind or just, catching him at the bat. I think everybody in the end saw up Doug's skirt.
Well, I think at one point he just fell over, so we saw it.
Yeah, we got a full moon right there, but... Also, if you'll notice, too, this was done the first day. Joe's sword isn't broken here.
How did it get broken?
I think the point was pointed to the floor and too much weight was put on it and just snapped that way. But in all the other scenes, it's taped up.
All this post-production stuff, we all did our lines while we were at home. And of course, me and the makeup beard.
I do really like the logo. We had the prop lady swap that out, and it turned out really well. Even the color of the grays matched up well, and that's hard to do.
We went to Joann Fabrics, and we were lucky enough that there was a gray that looked close enough to the outfit.
Right, because they effectively removed that middle piece, and if it was the wrong color, it would stand out really well.
Oh, we didn't remove it. What we did was she laid it out and got it as centered as she could, sewed it over the old one, and then using iron-on paper, ironed on the logo.
Oh, Lindsay. Okay, so here's another story about production. The first Lindsay was always, and again, I'm not ribbing on anybody to be mean, but she was always a little bit late in the mornings just because she's not a morning person, and she forgot her makeup that first day. In addition to Benzai there missing his wig, that's the douchey McNitpick. So that first day, before they got into costume, I went back with Holly and Benzai first to get Lindsay's makeup bag, but then to try to find that wig. So there was a moment in time, literally, when I was digging through, she had given me her room key and said, oh, it's kind of at the bottom of my bag. I was digging through her suitcase going, oh, there's some of her Whoa. I am digging through the Nostalgia Chick's underwear now. That is really surreal. I never thought I would be in that point.
And a million fanfics are born.
Also, though, when we were looking for Benzai's wig, he turned up his entire suitcase and whatnot, and of course a box of condoms falls out, and it's like, Benzai, what are you expecting?
Better safe.
Yeah, and he just like, well, I want to hand out condoms if people need them, and it's just Benzai.
Benzai believes.
Seeing somebody like, what?
Benzai believes in safe sex.
That's fine. I thought it was funny, and
oh God, Phaelus! He plays the psycho so damn well.
no, Phaelus is actually incredibly quiet.
Oh,
He's very reserved unless you get him going onto something, and I think Doug actually had to keep saying, you gotta go more over the top. Just keep going higher, because he was normally not as. He's not at all like this in real life.
he's tall and quiet, and he's just like he is a force of nature who just waits for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Unfortunately, I think Marshall a little bit got the shaft on her lines because the kind of running gag is, oh, she's speaking Japanese, but that seems to be the only kind of thing that she had, which is a little, I wish, like, you see with Matt and Luke Mockery, they kind of have that rivalry going, and Mike, I don't know.
I think it's funny what she says, because here's the thing. Now, someone suggested that the thing that's irritating is that it's not really a joke. It's just her speaking Japanese and not doing it right. But the thing is, I think it would have been more insulting if she had been like speaking nonsense and gibberish, because it would have looked like that they didn't even bother to try to learn the language. And it's not like Lindsay went out of her way to learn Elvish. She's never speaking any Elvish in this.
That's true.
Speaking Gaelic and Hindi.
Oh, Brad.
So
here's a fun. When we got to the hotel, Brad didn't actually fly, as he said in this. In the movie, he actually rode a train because he lives in Springfield.
Well, that also because he is absolutely terrified of flying. I mean, I was with him on the plane ride to Reno for Cagassia. He's not a good flyer. He is constantly nervous. Is always afraid. He basically knocked himself out to survive the plane ride.
Well, Brad, when he first checked into the hotel, he was dressed in his costume on the train, and when his last name is actually Jones. So when he got to the hotel, he's like, yes, I've got a reservation for Jones. And he's dressed as Indiana Jones. It's like, oh my God, Pa.
Yes, give me your rage.
He's got a lot of energy with it, and he mugs very, very well. I am very happy with how he did Jeremy Irons.
We're a big group of muggers, aren't we? we love to just put ourselves out there for to do goofy faces for the camera. And Todd. No one knows who the hell he is because he's always in the shadows.
Lindsay's dress, too, I think was a size 4. And she's pretty tiny, but it was definitely...
It's still too tight.
Yeah, it was very, very tight. So several times she actually kind of had to sit down and catch her breath because I don't think she could breathe right in it.
I always loved reading the speculation from the teaser and whatnot, who we were playing. Very few people guessed that Tom was Willow, and I think it's because of the fact that Willow is an older older fantasy movie. Not many people of our generation have seen it.
Another shot that we were planning on doing but we didn't get done here is, all the women kind of go up and fawn over Justin there, but we also wanted to have Benzai kind of pop out between... Justin's legs there when a second time, but they said no. And I think this was right around the same time that Hi, my name is Benzai, that video came out. Several times when we were shooting, it's like, what does everybody think I'm gay? It's like, Benzai, do you not? But yeah, Benzai is great. He's a lot of fun to be around, even if he complains a lot.
But yeah, since I didn't plan to have since we decided not to do the makeup beard the whole time, that's why we had to add in this line of people asking me, where's, I ran out of Sharpie. It just had to be added in, because otherwise people would ask, and they're like, there'll be no continuity, where's Linkara's beard? Anytime we have to do a major continuity change like that, we always have to mention it.
I love that look, the way that Kaylin gives the other two women there. She's just so satisfied, like,
You're mine now. May the light of Erendil shine ever upon you.
Oh, Spoonie. Spoonie did really well with his role. He just got into it on all of his lines. The staff that he had, too, I think they were worried about being able to get it home because it was so large, you couldn't take it onto the plane.
Yeah, it had to be mailed to Holly originally when he bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Along with my Green Ranger helmet, which I also got at the time. I had to mail that out to Holly because it wasn't that I was afraid of it being away, but I was going to use it for crossovers.
Now, Bargo's ring there, the heart ring, that's not actually... in the early 90s, they did sell the rings from Captain Planet.
Really?
I think they were trying to find a replica of it, but they couldn't get one in time. So I think that it's just a plain costuming ring, but... I do recall thinking, oh, did they actually track down the heart ring? Because it was probably not one of the more popular ones. I actually knew someone in first grade who had the one for Earth.
Even then, it's not the original Mati ring anyway, because in the Brawl, he had a completely different ring. I think the one they chose to do had 2 dolphins on it. You can see it in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff for the Brawl. Every time, I think they just give him a new ring every single time to try to find the lamest and most childish thing they can find each time. Just so sweet and innocent.
Yeah, Mati is definitely the bitch in this group.
The trailer. We're doing it for the trailer! It's a good trailer shot, and of course we are in the complete wrong order when we walk up.
Of course, it's just...
I imagine that we're just so disorganized that that by the time we reach the hill, we've already shifted around, and some are walking faster than others. We just, get into a different line by then.
I'm actually glad that Benzai decided not to use the plastic chest that he had gotten with it. It was like this big kind of fake pink plastic chest thing, and I don't think it would have worked as well if it wasn't just bare-chested Benzai. Oh, Matt. Every time I see him, he's just...
He says that wasn't intentional. And the ball.
Oh, yes, and change places!
Oh, we have fun. And of course, sometimes people would slow down and like, who the hell are those people? What are they doing?
No, we got a lot of people just watching us.
But we will talk some more about that probably in the next part, because we are coming up on the end here with the star of the show, Iron Liz herself.
Well, actually, it was meant to be Ed Glazer for that role, but
then
thanks to the weather, I had to assume the cloak position, as it were.
Yeah, because Ed took over as a second camera.
You can see my hair down in the lower right there.
That's fine. It's good you're in it, because you're there and you should be in it.
Those are actually driving gloves, as a matter of fact. I wore those gloves, the fingerless gloves, driving out here, because we didn't fly, we drove. So. Yep. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
More on that next part.
Okay, and we've returned.
We're back.
I think I was talking about those gloves, but another reason that I kind of wore them is I kind of wanted to differentiate the cloaks, differences a little bit. So I figured adding those would give a nice effect. And as it turned out, I'd still have kind of white bands across my hand from where the hole in the gloves were. I basically got suntanned on those, but my hands were covered up. So. And if you look closely enough too in this opening shot, you can see people's breaths.
It was cold.
I think it was about 38 or 36 degrees out initially when we started. This is about maybe 9 or 10 in the morning.
There was a balance there. Suede was probably the most comfortable. He had I think 3 or 4 layers plus the cloak that he wears over himself. I think I was next up because I had about 3 layers on, including a button-up shirt underneath, a t-shirt, and just the costume itself, plus the cape. Mm-hmm. And then Phalos with his sweatshirt, he was pretty good.
Yeah, but everybody else fairly, they were, I think, didn't realize how chilly it was out, because we did have coats and whatnot, but they didn't bring them down to the filming area. They left them in the car.
I brought mine. I said people can use it.
That was about a mile or 2 away.
Well, here's the thing. We all figured... Well, it was April, and we figured by this point at least warmed up enough so we can be outside.
Right.
It's always extremes with us whenever we're doing this. In April, when originally in the Brawl, everything was done inside, so it was not a big deal, though Spoonie did not bring a coat because he did not expect to need a coat.
Right.
For Reno, none of us were really quite dressed because few of us lived in the desert.
It actually had just rained, I think, the night earlier. So it was... Or it was about to start raining near the end of the day as well. It was actually sunny in the morning, but as the day went by, it started getting cloudier and cloudier.
I love how the weather was more unpredictable than Reno, which was up in the mountains.
Right, and so if you look around, too, you can notice that kind of the path that they're walking on, it kind of goes down a little hill, and there's a pond down there. That pond was actually fairly full.
Okay, you want me to really to break suspension of disbelief with this? We're on the same path through the entire thing. It's the same stretch of area. Every single scene we filmed together, we were in the same area. I don't know if that was the case for Team 2.
Team 2, yes and no. I didn't actually see the tail when they first released the rough copy of it.
Well, it's because the rough cut had a much lower quality, so you couldn't tell. There's me walking in the background because I realized, I'm supposed to come up and rejoin you guys. So okay, just be walking in the background.
It's funny with Bennett's costume. I think the first day of shooting, because this was the first real day of shooting.
No, it was the second day. The first day was inside of Doug's house.
Right, but this is the first team shot or team shooting. He actually, the tail that he has, you can't really see it, but the tail he had, it had like a little lion tail at the end of it. He actually stepped on it and it broke off, and for the rest of the time he just had the tip was gone. But the tail itself is not positioned like on a tailbone, kind of right above your butt. It was actually at like the bottom part of the suit, so from behind it looked like he was just taking one long...
Oh, dear.
One long poo out of there. It's like whoever designed that was not thinking.
And another thing to break your suspension of disbelief, I don't have a holster for my sword, so anytime I'm holding it against my belt, I'm just holding it against there. I have no actual... and anytime I'm pulling it out as if I'm pulling it from a holster, it's never happening.
I know some people were saying, was it actually supposed to be the guy behind it, with the puppet, and then, wasn't it just supposed to be the cat? It's like, no, it's supposed to be the puppet as well. That's the joke.
They're one continuous entity. Mm-hmm. The puppet, it's like a psychological thing. The puppet has... It's like the ventriloquist in Batman. The ventriloquist it's a psychological thing. The puppet has its own separate personality, which apparently controls him. I demand respect!
And I think this guy was another one of Doug's friends that they know from Chicago.
Trivia note, this is the guy, if you recall my crossover review with The Last Angry Geek, this is the guy who we force feed one moment in one more day and then kill. Kitty. Kitty with epic headbutting powers. It's not really punching us because it's just ramming itself into us. And then biting our noses.
Oh, Lupa.
Rock biter smash!
Who does that?
I don't know what was up with the rock biter smash thing.
If you'll notice, the silver paint on Phalus's face is actually kind of sloughed off a little bit because they took a lot of takes of that. And the paint itself is kind of this low quality. You could see the tail a little bit better.
It varies every single time, and you see it. Sometimes it looks like it's much more even and spread out and everywhere. Other times, it's blotchy in places.
At least, too, I forgot to mention...
We're just nitpickers, aren't we?
With Tom's hair there. Tom is very, very tall, and I actually met Spoonie's ex-girlfriend Scarlett at MagFest, and she's very tall as well. So several times I mentioned to some other folks that from behind, with that hair color, Todd kind of looks like Scarlett. So it just made me laugh.
Well, he's not. He's Willow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and here she is speaking Hindi, which I really didn't realize sounds a lot like the Elvish that they Because I know that originally Elvish, in terms of J.R.R. Tolkien, I believe, was meant to be Gaelic in some respect.
People said that that the running gag of her doing the Arwen montage grew stale. We only did it 3 times though. We did it. It was rule of 3, and in fact, we only do it for part 2, and then we don't do it again until part 5, and then part 7 for the ending with Malachite. And even then, even then, it changes each time. She's saying different things. She's doing different
that turn,
things.
By the way, really well done. I don't know why I like that shot so well, and that look she does. Really nicely acted.
Well, she's very calm and controlled. She's I just save the day because I am awesome.
Yeah, she has her presence there is very well done.
Very elven. Mm-hmm. And then Lupa. Love the fantasy music they have playing for her. I'm trying to think of it, like it's a combination of like I think a violin and a flute, and it's very perfect. It's very calm, princessy, which of course nicely contrasts with her yelling at Doug because she's doing her character.
I think some fans called it like lady doming or something like that. But my favorite line is actually when she's teaching him how to curtsy. But yeah, I think the reaction here should have been like oh. And then him go, yeah, that does sound douchey, doesn't it? But
I think the looks speak volumes. Like, dude, no.
Yeah, it's just, oh no.
This is not like M. Bison and the of course thing. It doesn't work.
And Lindsay there on the right completely ad-libbed. She actually caught her cloak there. Holly and I were sitting to the right, and we watched it, and it was a perfect kind of shrug of the shoulder.
Shots of nature.
Yeah, and this, I think, Team 2 actually filmed their parts. I was there too because I was a shade, or cloak or what have you.
I know I make that same mistake because it's the same kind of costume.
This was all shot on Easter, so we did have some people kind of going through, and every time they'd run by, say Happy Easter, Happy Easter. So, like, yep, we're just filming a movie.
We're doing our Easter production of Lord of the Rings.
Yep, and it was still fairly early, so not everything is green or blooming. But yeah, I love that shot too.
Yes, my rage! Give me your rage, trees. Tweez.
Yeah, and this scene went on for a longer amount of time in the original script. Because
Yep,
you had Luke kind of go into his little show a little bit there.
Yeah, there were like two jokes, 2 major insult bits. There was one that Luke countered instantly, and then the one that led into the penis joke, where Luke consults his other personalities, and they're like, "Yeah, go with the penis thing."
Which I think Rob is a big fan of The Critic. And I think this is where, he kind of borrowed from that a little bit. Filled with country goodness and
green penis. Right, that's awful. That's awful. I'm leaving.
Quit. Maybe just a handful for the road.
Yeah.
Aha, what luck.
There's a French fry
stuck in my beard.
We were quoting The Critic inside the house when we were filming all this.
Yes, so...
Rosebud frozen peas.
They're even better when you're dead. I'm going to eat your penis. And it's funny, too, because he has a very thick English accent, and so when he says it in that voice, it's very funny to me.
I'm already at the back. Doug has said before in one of his Kick-Assia commentaries, I believe, that he loves pairing up people who don't usually interact and just letting them run with it. That's why he had the Cinema Snob interacting with Benzai, and I think it really works well with him interacting with Juwario.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is where he says, I couldn't bring it on the plane. Yeah, he actually didn't fly. But...
Yeah, so... It's just as well, though. It's still funny.
Mm-hmm. Throughout these
I use what any strong heterosexual man uses, a whip.
Yeah, like if you'll notice in the paths to the side of there, there's a lot of standing water. So literally the path we're walking on is just a bunch of wood chips. And about maybe 12 inches off, it gets soggy and wet. So when you're trying to find somewhere to sit down, it makes it very difficult.
I love just that hand smack.
Yep.
It's slapstick, but it's basic good slapstick. Look, we know speaky the Miyazaki. And look, people, she's just getting into character.
Right.
And her character is from an anime.
There we are.
The other thing they could identify is you were the cloak and the jeans.
Yep.
Though I think was it one of the gyms who was the other cloak?
I think so.
His pants I think change a couple of times.
Yeah, I used jeans in my work boots, which actually worked really well because they were waterproof.
What's odd is that in some shots you can see through the see-through of the black masks. Other times it gets that nice shadow effect. Every single time you never ever see through the see-through on the Last Angry Geek. Mm-hmm. The others you do. I don't really know why.
I don't know. Maybe it's just how it's shot.
Just the way the lighting hit them, I guess.
And I think actually Doug dubbed over me there.
I asked him about it and I asked him if he wanted to. If he needed you to do redubs, and he said, no, the reason why I did it was because I wanted to give the three cloaks very distinctive, different voices, and yours, while it was perfectly comprehensible, it sounded just a little too close to the other one.
Okay.
In tone, so...
This was all ad-libbed by Spoonie. And originally he was just going to he's got the staff in his hand. One of the takes where we just let him go straight, he literally just handed the staff over to me, and I just kind of and just took it from him. And so the second take we did it a bit more, practice. But yeah, too magic, and his little rant there. He originally I think did a LARP once, and yeah, he's talking about the World of Darkness rules, which is rock paper scissors. And so I really kind of go, oh, okay.
Like, what the hell? I'm really looking forward to seeing the alternate takes of this because he says he did like 3 or 4 different rants, and I can't wait to hear what else he came up with. We're doing the birdseed today.
I think originally we were planning on having like loose birdseed, so it would kind of splatter. But I think the packets he has there are actually sugar packets.
Yeah, he didn't have it. They didn't have any actual bird seeds, so they did sugar packets. But it works.
Again, I think Bargo was supposed to go out and get some, but he didn't. And at that time, we just really didn't have time for it. So
we had to
just grabbed some sugar packets and went with it.
We had to keep readjusting Todd's mask because while he could see through the one he usually brings with him for these kind of occasions, the Dread Pirate Roberts mask, which had the eye holes, that kept shifting around, so we couldn't see half the time through it.
I just love how Spoonie is. You're never gonna play this game again.
It's like, oh, I got you now.
Yeah.
It says he was going for an Arnold Rimmer thing, and I really do hear it.
Yep. And the hat gag. There it is.
His power is beyond any of you.
Yeah, and if you look on the sword here, yep, it's got the tape.
Snapped.
A lot of people did notice that, but I think it works just fine because it just shows how kind of lame everybody is.
We are here. It's once again like the Kikassia farce thing because we are not the best people for this kind of thing. We're a bunch of internet critics.
I think again, Faye listed these effects, but I really like the explosion. When he shoots it off and you see stuff flying, and that is really well done.
The dust, yes.
Yeah.
It's debris that sells it.
Mm-hmm. Run like children.
Oh, that was not this one. This one was just, wet yourselves and run!
He was actually not there with us. That was put in later.
Though it works, though. It really looks like it was just like that. And we will continue.
We'll continue on in the next part. And we're back.
Part 3. I think there's another thing that... see, I'm all nitpicky in these now, because I've watched them like 5 or 6 times now. I am kind of sad that the individual parts, some of them ended up being so short, like only 12 minutes long.
If you quick to interject there, if you look at the chair, see on the lower right there's kind of mud. That's because we had it off on the trail, and the ground was so soft that when you sat into it, it would sink that deep. So we actually had that chair out because there was a log and a chair that we sat on, and both Holly and I were really tired near the end of it.
I wonder if the purple haze that's on everything, purple haze,
it's all in my brain,
was deliberate or not. Because sometimes the lighting just ends up hitting like that.
Well, later you can tell this is later in the afternoon because it is cloudier and there isn't as much sunlight or direct sunlight kind of on the path there. This was near the later part of the day when everybody was getting really tired.
Well, it just makes me wonder, because the purple effect, it does give the impression that we have moved on into a completely different area of the woods.
That's true.
So it just makes me wonder, was this deliberate, or was it just luck of the draw that it happened to look like that when we filmed?
Mm-hmm.
The shots of the woods, ominously. And yet, we weren't actually the ones being followed by Malachite. We were suggesting that Malachite's the one that's following us, but he's following Team 2 because they have the original map.
Yep.
We need a musical number!
That was Doug's copy of the script.
Yep.
Which he literally had on every single page, each shot that he wanted to have in just like a little square with a little drawing and little stage directions written on it. He just annotated the hell out of his script.
Oh yeah, that's what he does. He does that. He's done that for the last 2 years as well. Even during the Brawl, which was only a 20-page script, he had every single bit framed out along the sides of it. Now, if this was a professional movie company doing this, what would happen would be they would have a storyboarder, and they'd have two things, one actually with the storyboards for how it would look, and one with the script, and they just have them side by side with each other. They wouldn't have the
package.
Oh God.
Yeah, we all got a good shot of that.
Be sure to linger on it.
Well, I forgot to mention as well, this is, the Team 1's first day of filming, and we all left at 6 in the morning, and the park was not scheduled to open until 7 or 8.
And
so,
yeah, that was a whoa.
And I think also, too, that one of the reasons we were out here is because, it was quiet, and we could not,
there weren't
be
a lot
left
of cars
alone.
in the background.
Yeah, and we really didn't have another place to go, so that's when we went to Dunkin' Donuts. But driving out here when it finally did open, Bargo, again, he was driving his car with several people, and Holly wanted to turn right into the lane to get behind him or in front of him, and he just kept adjusting his speed so that we couldn't until finally, the turn was right there, and we had to cut in front of another person to get over there. In front of a cop car. Literally, there was a cop car right next to us. And again, this scene was almost cut. But, just Bargo. Ugh.
We love you, Bargo.
And again, I think, that phrase right there, I think, is Lupa's best line. She gets
You'll be a lady and like it!
You're gonna be a lady and like it! Gosh, she just nails it with a certain level of crazy in it. But yeah, this is near the end of the day with that line with Phaelus. We almost didn't shoot that because everybody was getting really tired. It was around 5 or 6 o'clock.
And we needed to go over to
the other house.
The other house, yeah, to film all the indoor shots for Jaffer's house.
One of the things that Holly and I actually were kind of whispering to people is don't tell Doug what time it is. Because if you tell him what time it is, he's going to cut out all these scenes. Mm-hmm. So we were all very, very tricksy about going as far as, as long as we could to get everything. We got most of everything.
Yep. I think there was a concern that, the park might close at 4 or something like that, or at sundown.
I think it was sundown. We did still have some time, but bear in mind, nobody had really had that much to eat. So near the end of the day, everybody was really hungry and tired.
Yeah, I think I skipped out on dinner with you guys that night because I was exhausted in my own way.
Right.
And I just really did not feel like going out to a loud restaurant and doing all that. I had a headache. I wanted to go to Wendy's, get something to eat, and just relax in my hotel room.
Yeah, I think we went out and got Chicago-style pizza that night. But I believe we were actually eating at about 9 o'clock at night. Just because the house scenes, near the end of the day, the house just seemed like it dragged on and on and on. And that was nobody's fault. It was just we were all so tired.
Well, we spent all day outside, and we're a bunch of nerds who are out of shape.
Yeah, that was a good part of it as well. But I think for next year, if we were out on set like this, it would have been nice to have a large meat and cheese tray or something, just so that people have something to munch on.
This bit, we did 3 or 4 takes of this, and I do wonder if this is being filmed from a weirder angle, because I don't remember walking like that. I remember being on the other side.
See,
when he was filming that.
if I was in Mickey's place, I would have not had that joke because now people are gonna go, "Oh, you're a goat fucker." But
Hey, Brad just did that night that thing. Sorry, Mickey.
But Mickey is a good enough guy, and he laughs about it. So he probably just goes right off.
Well, that's because in every other video we have Mickey as this interdimensional imp who has magical pollution powers. Mm-hmm. And of course, the bum scene. Once again, the cameos were really well integrated here, as opposed to just having them. Oh, just need my cameo.
That's a later shot. You can tell everything's a lot greener. But anyway.
But yeah, it works a lot better. They're integrated a lot more because you would have a bum in the middle of the woods and ask that guy. You don't quite expect him to be at his basement, but hey, you get to see his bar, and that's where he films.
Yep.
And of course, the bum is off separately because, of course, he wasn't there with us. We didn't have time to film the bum sequences on his own. We didn't really need to either.
Ask your questions.
There are plenty of shots that can be done on your own, and if it saves time for filming, go right ahead with it. Do you have any money? I do love the parodies here of all the fantasy tropes. Mm-hmm. And sure, it's not like specifically Lord of the Rings. It's not specifically Willow. It's the kind of things you would just see in a fantasy movie, like a deep booming voice which commands you. You expect to see obstacles, but you don't on a quest. You just don't expect. I mean, if we were doing a specific parody of one or two fantasy movies, I think that would hurt it. That would make it more like a Friedberg and Seltzer movie. You shall not pass! I wonder, how did they do the hat thing with this one?
I honestly don't know how they did that, but it was really well done.
Bounce!
Cock blocked.
Besides, you're a lousy shot.
Yeah, and I think that stream was actually, it burst its banks, because you can see all sorts of puddles on the side of the road there. But running across the field here, it was actually...
Where they filmed that? Because it wasn't the same field where we did the last
No,
shot.
this is where the... It's kind of a large... It's surrounded by apartment buildings, and in the middle, that's where the playground is. But all across that field, it was so soggy that every single step we were taking was going squish, 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 and it was also covered in goose poop. Because there were Canadian geese all over the place, or Canada goose, or whatever you want to call them. But they were all standing on like the apartment buildings, and we occasionally had to stop filming because they were just kept honking and honking. And... Yeah, I think next time maybe we'll have a little bit better fight choreography because it's pretty basic, but I think it works well. It just shows that we're all a bunch of nerds that can't do anything.
What I think helps is I think it helps if this is viewed in movie form, because one of the things that people complained about was the pacing and everything else. But I think if you view it in movie form, it moves a lot faster. Plus, it makes sense why the Cloaks are not better fighters, because it turns out they're just Jaffar's friends.
Right.
They're not. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, Brad right here is the most advanced fighting ever. Just like, tackling a guy with his feet.
I originally tried to get up there. That's me, up on that swing. But the problem being is I had my face covered up, and so I just like slid backwards and almost fell off the swing. So they just had me, go on the ground and do it.
That would have been a good bit, though. You two on the swings trying to fight, and the alternating quotes. That's great. Give in to our rage. Rage shall not avail you. And everyone used to help me exploded into laughter.
Everybody just cracked up with the first take. I'm actually standing up on the wobbliest part of the bridge. A few times I almost lost my footing there, but in hell! Dong! And he could only do it a few times because the sword is breaking, but...
and the last Angry Geek is just like, dude, what?
Oh, God. So when I'm fighting there, too, I'm trying to instead of just going side to side, several times I just put the sword in one hand and try to go, sword fighting.
When we get to the final battle, I wanted to do some actual fight choreography, like saying, okay, I'm gonna go high, then you swing down low, I'll block, but it just doesn't work out quite right because it's going so fast and
right,
whatnot.
It's very chaotic, and that's kind of what we were going for, so... I think too when Luke Mockery went down that slide, we were the first persons to get there, and so it was still kind of wet, and he got a bunch of junk on his cloak
Harry
there.
Potter.
Okay, so when we were on this slide, Kaylin, the skirt she had was actually starting to rip in the back, so it kept getting higher and higher, and so she was safety pinning it. But as you can imagine, it kind of crept up on her, so several times I had to go over there and just very discreetly adjust her skirt so it didn't show, didn't show too much. But
Pull a nostalgia link.
yeah, and I was like, sorry, Kaylin, just hold on.
This is very Robin Hood Men in Tights right
Yeah.
here. But what sells it is how he suddenly turns around and
He falls over too. I like that.
That's what makes it original.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to jab at him a little bit and kind of bring it up a little.
These were just friends of Doug's.
Yep, these were friends, and I think that was actually her daughter.
For the fate of mankind, Manatee.
We're fighting for the fate. You know what would have been funnier
What's that?
if we had her and like a few other kids. You guys are still doing the epic battle, but the kids are just playing. Yeah.
I think there was a shot or two that we had. They had these like little digging machines, which is I think Film Brain, he mentions, the other one had sandcastles. I think one of the shots we wanted to do is have a cloak on one of them and then like have
Someone else.
Film Brain on the other one and just kind of like mock fighting with these two shovel things. But we didn't do it.
That would have been good.
This was not filmed on the same day. That was another day.
It works though. Mm-hmm. Because of course we don't actually see them ever going onto the little playground.
Yep, and this one was actually filmed less than a block from where they live. So.
Yep, and Jim is now wearing different pants.
Yep.
They have the khakis now as opposed to the black ones he was wearing in part 2.
And originally, too, I was going to come in with a line here, "You're off the bowling team," but they cut that out.
Might end up on the DVD.
It might, yeah.
Onward to adventure.
Little too assuming. And there's again, a great shot. Just kind of pan down, and there's the map. I think that might have been actually Ed Glazer who did that. And I think that's where we end.
We'll continue in part 4. And we're back.
Suburban Nights, Part 4.
We were Bennett and I were trying to catch Swade up on all the stuff he had missed, and one of the things we talked about with him was Red Letter Media and the Plinkett reviews. We were just like doing our own reenactments of the Star Wars reviews.
And I think in terms of timelines, this part of the day, again, was, I think this was near the second thing that we filmed, because we had, right after the cat battle, we had the witch woman come in. And,
Yeah, I think we filmed the stuff where us coming out of the woods. That was like third.
Yeah. And the chair, I think, was the last thing we had shot. So this is, you can tell again, because it's a little bit sunnier. And
We are just that was the thing we kept repeating because we realized our bits were just us being complete jerks.
Yeah, I know.
We insulted the cat person and we insult the witch warrior and we are insulting to Mati. We are just so jaded with our reviews of bad media.
It makes me wonder, too, if we had just been nice to the witch, if she would have just let us go by without any problems, because she was very nice and pleasant.
I doubt it, considering she says very clearly, "I can't let you go through here." So she'd still have like kicked our asses, but she wouldn't have had the demon eyes with it.
Just go forth and do it.
Yeah, and I was like I was kind of trying to get out of it because like I really don't want to be like an asshole on the team, but at the same time, it's like okay, I'll do it. But really, my concern was like where do I put my sword? I can't just like be waving it in her face or anything. And they're like, well, you just put it in your back. It's like okay.
God, these shots are just so good at making you feel so angry with them. It's like you guys are so demeaning. Leave her alone. Her little dance there. Oh God.
I can't remember if that was actually originally part of the script or if we just improv that because we were all going on the line and just realized, hey, let's just do Ring Around the Rosie.
I love Doug's scream. Ah, ah, ah. He just doesn't stop. Okay. I remember we were down the path that they were filming on about maybe half a mile, and we could still hear Doug going, ah, ah, ah.
And now she's regenerating.
Yep, she's gone Doctor Who on us.
I think that's one of Phalos' effects. It's those beams coming out of the hands and whatnot. It's a good effect, but having seen Doctor Who and seeing in particular Phalos' regenerating into himself, that I recognize the effect.
Also, I think the glasses give her. She reminds me very much of Filbert from Rocko's Modern Life.
It reminds me very much of just like a very kindly old librarian.
Like, I'm nauseous. I can't let you pass. Oh my. That's kind of.
Now that's a good effect right there, not being able to keep the contrast on her while having everything else, and that was not done in a green screen. My friends!
I think we might have gotten a little too far on this joke a little bit with Phalos, but the thing is he sells it so well that you actually kind of feel like he's torn up that bad about it. And yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, they actually, that was a real can of mace. I believe Mickey and Tom shot a video of
That's right, they were
Tom macing Mickey.
Yeah, they were going to do that. I can't remember if they were still enthusiastic about doing that by the end.
I think they ended up doing it, though. I can't be certain, though.
Originally, the line was, "It's magic, bitch," and I do it twice in the original script, and I'm like, I don't think it works right, because why am I doing that? Well, isn't that your catchphrase? No,
it's not.
You haven't watched my videos? Which, of course, well, yeah, of course he does, but he doesn't watch as religiously as a fan because he's doing this stuff.
I was really surprised by, I'm not sure who this woman is, but she got really overwhelmingly positive comments made. Like, who is she? Is she going to be, all these speculations about her, and she's really kind of just coincidentally there.
I think she's one of Doug's ex-girlfriends.
Okay.
I think she was in one or two of his old movies that he made before he was a nostalgia critic.
Yeah.
But she's really good in this, and again, I really like the like I said in the other commentary, I loved reading the speculation about who she was, because there's just one frame of her in the trailer, and they're like, who is she?
Right.
What significance will she have?
And I think it was said in the other video, she really looks a lot like Kirsten Dunst.
She does. What I think sells it is both their hair and the jacket.
Yeah. And again, showing that Malachite is such an asshole. He murders people, but as the original script, I kind of read her as a bit more bubble-headed and stupid, but
you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and she just kind of stops. Oh my god, kind of hot.
See, and kaboom.
Yep.
And Malachite.
And following our own continuity, that would mean she was getting a phone in the park on Easter. But if, the two paths here actually meet up, where if you'll notice where that bridge that they were running across, there was that wood chip trail. That's where it comes out, is this fork. Mm-hmm. And this fork, if you keep going the direction they were walking, leads to that small little park. So it kind of helps you put the.
You had more locations with your shooting than mine. This is intolerable. Oh, Spoonie, you're such a klutz, leaving the map on the ground. And upcoming the gatekeepers cameo.
Yeah, I think this.
Or the gate cleaner, sorry.
The I was actually halfway asleep at this point. Three of us were more or less down at the opposite end of where we were behind the cameraman effectively, and I think I was on a grassy knoll sleeping for part of this, because I was there for filming every single day, and this was another day that I think lasted about 14 or 16 hours, all things considered, because we wake up at 6 in the morning and be done filming at around 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
really looks. These shots are really good. What I especially think sells it is the dark circles under his eyes. I'm sure he make-upped in. Like, yeah. It's very Peter Sellers like that, how we reuse our actors for multiple roles. And let's face it, Spoonie's one of our best.
Yep. I think, too, this was the second day of this team filming as well, so I believe Film Brain was really, really tired anyway, so that he kind of has this, like, dopey, sleepy look about him, where he just looks so pathetic. I think part of that is just him being tired, and it turned out really well.
Stop dropping the damn rock! You think he'd just be, like, happy to have someone to talk to. There can't be many people who come along this path and, like, pick up a stone and say, give me light.
Right.
So it's like he's finally getting something to do. It's his job is finally getting to do something. No, Mom, I won't bring home another dead animal.
I think several times, too, we were interrupted by people walking, and I think Joe also had the airsoft guns sitting around, so we had to, especially during the shooting scene that's coming up.
It's something you always have to be aware of
Yeah.
when you're filming any kind of project with realistic-looking weapons, because people don't know they're fake.
Yep.
Ooh. Go to the fucking rock. God, I hate you people! I loved watching this, because Spoonie had uploaded all the stuff for Doug, so I got to see all these sequences ahead of time, including the gate cleaner's wife. I don't know, I think I kind of liked her better as a more unassuming, nice housewife.
Instead of the cigarette hag.
Yeah. I think I liked it a little bit better, if only because it's just such a contrast then to him. It's like, honey...
Yeah, just sweet and happy.
And the gate cleaner is just like constantly like, no, don't get any damn crotons! It's that opposites attract thing that I like. Dun 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 dun.
Who is that? Looks like a member of Run DMC.
This creates our what a twist moment. Where, it
Yeah,
turns out-
exactly.
where he gives them the map, and you start wondering, say, why did he want them to have the map back? A
Yeah.
few people guessed that he was following them, which is good. That people were able to figure that out. Again, I really think this works a lot better if you view it all as a movie as opposed to the as one
released
part
in
at a time.
segments. And I do find it funny how people are like, oh, you're just doing that so you get more money. That's kind of the point, because the costs for flying everybody out and literally having everybody in a hotel for a week isn't cheap.
Not to mention, it's supposed to be an anniversary celebration. It's the
Right.
entire week. And really, it's harder to get people to maintain that energy level if it's just all released on one day, and then given, like, I don't know, maybe crossovers. And even then, we released the crossovers much earlier this year because it took extra time to edit all this.
And Doug, by the way, edited all of this by himself. So, and this scene here with the gun, this was our first and only take of this. So, you know, I whip out the gun here and just start firing. Originally, when Joe was playing, when he pulled out his gun, we were just supposed to, you know, break and flee and run and just kind of whatever. I kind of had the, you know, supporting fire while we leave here.
Covering fire.
Yeah, exactly, and I didn't realize that the other two were basically halfway down that path, and I was still firing, and that's where the line Cloak 2 or Cloak 3, Don't Be a Hero comes in, was the stage direction basically from the main Cloak there. Like, come on, run down the path already! So, but I think it turned out good, because yeah.
I think it
Still
worked. It really looked
firing.
good. Though the funny thing is that your number switched around. Though that was like that in the original script too.
Yeah.
That Cloak 2 and Cloak 3 became confused about which one was which.
Right. Oh my god, this is my favorite part of Matthews, because he just sells this so beautifully. Both of these spots, I was standing behind the cameraman, losing my shit. Like, I could not stop laughing for a good 20 minutes straight, and I'm not exaggerating. Just the way he looks here, he's so pathetic and just so...
Puppy
he
dog-ish.
sells this shut. Imagine you can see my eyes. Ah! Like, I don't know if he got himself pumped to do this or if this is all just him, but I literally had to stop looking at him because I was breaking up so much. Just laughing so hard.
One of us. One of us.
You can see me in the corner mouthing there, but I don't think it was dubbed in. But anyway, we'll continue this on in the next part.
And we're back with part 5.
Part 5.
My favorite part. Again, I really think that the reason why I love this part so much is we go through a whole bunch of crap, everything's just feeling down, and then BAM! Suede's mighty return!
Yeah, and this was still the first day of filming, and this is where I was saying it was getting... Everybody at this point was just exhausted.
You see, we keep saying first day of filming. It was the first day of filming
For that team.
for that team.
Yeah, sorry. Because we were broken into the 2 teams here, and in this guy's living room is a very large Lego model of the Death Star, but also apparently he's a very he makes his own beer and wines, so the entire living room was filled with that equipment. I think they said too in the other commentaries that his garage is basically full of alcohol.
Yeah. He has, it's very impressive setup. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I love the Lego stuff, but man, just having that much of it, having like kind of his own distillery.
By the by, too, with that line with Phalis, yeah, we were in the basement and we just started cracking up.
They look like big,
Strong hands. And it was a combination of fatigue and whatnot. Yeah, me, Bennett, and several others. And I kept... In the basement, too, there's the massage chair. And each, like, for a little bit, everybody was fighting for it because we were all so tired and worn out. And I felt bad because, you know, I wasn't acting or whatnot. And they were like, no, Liz, you can sit on this. Like, are you sure? You sure? But that chair felt great. And I almost passed out in it several times. But you couldn't run it while we were filming.
When I passed out upstairs. There was another chair around there, like near some of the Lego stuff that I collapsed and I didn't realize how tired I was, and really it was because that house was so warm compared to how it was outside, and I was more comfortable outside.
Right.
Because I had warmer clothes.
Yeah, you were wearing layers, but practically nobody else was. And that's, you know, I think they deliberately made it a little warmer on purpose, but yeah, Benzai was freezing all day.
Well,
But that's kind of his own fault, because he didn't bring his coat along, or he didn't bring, you know, like sweatpants or something. But then again, they couldn't find any at Target, so I don't know.
yeah, there were a lot of problems here.
And you see the Star Destroyer in the back, that's all Lego.
The rough cut of this had more cartoonish sound effects going on from the TV. The final cut has, I think, Reefer Madness being played.
Yeah, and if you'll notice, the chair this guy is sitting in, the one to the right, actually. Oh my, Lindsay. So many fan fictions are going to come out of that.
Just the tongue.
The tongue, yes, and in the later the
And now the Macarena.
thrusting that she does.
Completely unfazed.
Yep.
You guys are here for the quest thing, right?
And this is the same basement that Kick-Assia, you know, Doug calling up everybody.
Well, the reason why they did it in that basement, if I recall correctly, was because it had all those computer monitors. Mm-hmm. So it had the ability to make it look like this big setup of he's planned this out so perfectly.
The owner's house, this is just, like, his entire house is one shrine of nerdiness. Mm-hmm. Like, all of this, he works from home for IBM, I believe, or some other large computer company, and that setup he has is just magnificent. And there's so many, like, vintage computers throughout his house. I think he has an Apple II on one of the shelves back there. So
love the spell book. Of course, I don't think the spell pages are in all of it, but the spell stuff that we do see there looks very impressive. It looks like an actual, like, you know, instructional book of spells.
Although the one thing I noticed at this shot is with Doug, right above him there's a ledge. And on that ledge, there was a sticker for Papa John's pizza delivery. And I kept laughing at that because, you know, they're in Chicago, and Chicago-style pizza is very famous. He's like, oh, you're buying Papa John's? Yeah, you can kind of see in the back corner there that I'm not sure if that's an Apple II, but again, it's a really old computer. And those
Wouldn't
CD
surprise me.
racks.
I think I used to have one of those back in like elementary school.
Me too. And right behind Rob there, those are full of discs and CDs of varying size and types. He actually had the floppy discs.
For like Commodore 64s.
Yep, the old school ones back there.
Good times. I still have some of those back in my parents'
as well.
place.
I have a box of those I found cleaning out my parents' basement at one point. But
That wig looks so right on Rob.
I
don't
know,
why.
and the character of Jaffers, he is just so pathetic and so kind of
so
lame.
dorky.
Yeah, and when he pulls out the gun here, I think everybody's asking, "Oh, why is he missing all the time?" But
It's
he's
obvious.
just that pathetic.
He's not good at this. I mean, again, what I said on the other commentary was the only reason we were fleeing is because we're afraid of the bullets ricocheting and hitting us. Otherwise, that guy can't aim for crap. I mean, when we finally all get out of there, he fires 3 times into the ground because he can't control it.
Yep. Yeah, if you can look above Doug's head, you'll see some of those stickers up there for numbers. And
Even at point blank range, I imagine, even if he put it up against the head, it would somehow find a way to miss.
Yep. And you can tell that's a digital photo, by the way. That they,
Well, we're limited by time and budget, so
whatever. Yeah.
none of us have an old style Polaroid camera that can
Yeah.
just do the printing off thing.
Which would have been great. It's too bad CinemaStop didn't bring his, because in his 80s Dan video, he does have an old school Polaroid camera.
Ooh, big strong hands.
Oh my.
Oh, he's so into character, and it's so
Yep.
beautiful.
Yep.
But what about the gauntlet? I hid it in another location. That's
I was building an RPG called Gauntlets of Razzmatazz.
I'm trying to think of what else was in this basement that I can recall off the top of my head, because there were certainly the large Lego sculptures.
There was some anime wall scrolls.
Yep.
I think a couple of other photos.
Like this guy, whoever, I forget what his name is, but he's a god amongst nerds. I mean, like, this is the paradigm, I think, for various types of nerdiness in this guy's house. Oh, there it is in the upper left. You can see the Papa John's thing. For some reason, again, it just stuck out.
dark stuff. Oh, so that's why they can't.
Oh, that explains why they can do these things. Well, not really. How the hell did you guys get all those spell books and magic and crap? Did you get it off of eBay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he got a dark book of the Necronomicon off of eBay, like that lady in Silent Hill.
Yep. Hey, you can find anything on eBay.
Yeah, I guess. Yep, and there's the chair.
I mean, I'm gonna have to someday explain where I get all my stuff from, and I'm gonna be able. I have the backstory planned out. I just need to actually say it. Have a good opportunity. We're internet reviewers. We are not the best people for this.
Yeah, and I think, like you said in the other one, Rob was doing all of his stuff solo. Everybody else was up in the kitchen, sitting in chairs, fighting off sleep.
We were fine. We were fine with that. It gave us a chance to rest, and we were pretty much done for the day after
Yeah.
this. After this stuff.
It would have been nice if all of us had like a change of clothes or something for you guys, so that you could, get out of costume. Because bear in mind, Lindsay still was wearing that wedding dress, and I think during one of the days she actually got slightly sick from just wearing it for so long because it was so,
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, restricting on her.
Guess someone's gonna have to kill you. Still a gun there. It hasn't been fired in 30 years, but it still functions.
Yeah, and that magazine, by the way, is way too small for an actual handgun magazine.
I got the safety off here.
And he doesn't actually, until in the next shot, I think he finally pulls it back. There you go, because it won't fire otherwise.
Boom. Again, even at point blank range, he could totally put up Doug's head, and somehow the bullet would fire out the back.
Pew, pew, pew.
There are too many of us.
The map.
I mean, look at him. He can't aim. We're fine. I think they say that you can see the cameraman in the
reflection there.
reflection, but I didn't see it there. Yeah, I was in a book for 30 years. Awesome. Oh yes. And this is the other thing because I think I loved about this because oh my god, Phil Brain,
Oh god.
Matthew, you are too good at this.
Yeah, we've got our badass walk there, and we just turn around, and he's
like
stumbling like an
around
idiot.
there, still has the wand.
And it's inside out, and he's just so pathetic.
We seriously recruited this guy. Can somebody carry me?
One could run storm.
Yeah, when they... You can see through the mask a little bit when he's sighing. It's just, like, the mask doesn't even fit right on him. You can still see his tie there. And...
It's like the Nazgul having to carry around, like, just like the rejected recruit.
Yeah, look, a butterfly. And again, this is all him ad-libbing. We were like, what's your favorite tree, I think is what we wanted to ask him, but he couldn't think of anything. He was just going for it. If you see when we're running away here, I initially... I kind of had this... I'm in the forest back there. I was trying to channel the... if you lose in Team Fortress 2 and you're a pyro, and you're running around, kind of avoiding people killing you, that was kind of what I was trying to channel there, of just me, my hands up in the air, kind of the knees up.
Kind of sneak away.
Yeah, and...
Wait up, you guys!
And then that's me in the back seat punching like, go, go, go!
We had
God,
cars!
they're such dicks.
Why were we walking?
Yeah, we did that in 2 takes, actually, and I think the first one didn't work out so well because we were stuck kind of like signaling to go into traffic. Just him pawing at Margirl's arm.
Of course, it's taking Mars Girl all her control not to just burst out laughing.
I think at this point yep, see, she's laughing.
She's wincing. That's what she's doing.
I think we finished filming the cloak parts at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and that was the last day of filming as the individual groups. And literally, I was done at that point. I was just so exhausted because I was there every single day doing, at least with the different groups, they filmed on every other day.
And doing production assistant work.
And just, but for me, I was there every single day, and when I was not in costume, I was helping get food, clean up, and, carry things, so...
And they were very appreciative of your
I think after that, I just went home, or went back to the hotel and slept until, 8 or 9 o'clock. I was just too tired to continue on at that pace, but...
They have power over the phenomenally weak-minded.
And I do kind of like this character development where, he kind of lets go of the jerkiness he has towards the monkey.
There's a character arc here.
Yeah.
They start out as enemies, and they end punching the last angry geek together.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, there was kind of a dark... Everybody was losing, and it kind of ends on a little happy note for them, and especially with this one. You're right, that it changed the tone a little bit, because I think Malachite's character is way too...
Dark and serious.
Dark, yeah.
He pulls a guy's heart out here.
Right, and he's blowing people up and all this other stuff, and it's kind of... It's so antithetical to what we normally do, so having any high note that we have ending...
Triumphantly.
Yes, I think is very important. And there in the back, you can see some more of the...
We have a Lego
Star Wars.
TIE Interceptor, I think is what it is.
And I think the Millennium Falcon was back there as well. But And if you notice, too, the laptops, they were all over the house. Just sitting on the wall like that. But they look good, I thought.
Wait, Malachite just said that. Glee!
Well, he's got us there.
Just ask me once popcorn, man.
Although, in our defense against technology, his era also had fucking chuckles, the jesters. Oh, that would have been funny if we had gotten Noah to do his fucking chuckles.
Dude, that's my heart. I think it would have been funnier if even after Malachite walks away the second time, he'd be just like, not cool. Or another awesome.
I actually used that bathroom.
Covered in blood. And he's possessed by the shadows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that bathroom, I think all of us used at one point, but it's also in the basement.
Is that like a washer and dryer right
Yep,
there?
the washer and dryer is in the bathroom there.
Huh. Awesome, man. Okay, since I am not a video game person, this is like one of the few parts where I didn't laugh at all because I've never played Zelda, so I know nothing about what the hell Doug is talking about here with the chickens and crap.
Yep.
But everyone else seemed to like it, so I guess it was funny. Is this one of those kind of Dennis Miller, I have no idea what you're talking about kind of things? I'm just sick to death of it. And this one, its Magic Bitch does work, because the earlier one was me doing the oft-repeated, it's magic, I don't have to explain it, and because, I'm repeating it's magic again, and because I'm frustrated with the critic, I can say it's Magic Bitch. I think my hair finally stabilized by that point, too. Because here's the thing with my hair, it tends to go down into a central point if it's not combed over to the side. By this point, it finally was combed properly, it was over to the side, it looked nice, and not just kind of a weird thing that it sometimes does. There's like a dozen other chickens!
Oh, Doug.
Da-da-da-da! The realization. There's nothing we can do. Dun-dun-dun! And greedy. Nostalgia Critic really is greedy. And I think some people were happy that he wasn't the villain in this one, which is good, because of course that kind of thing gets old fast, but people seem to forget, even Doug himself admits, the Nostalgia Critic is a villain.
Yeah.
He's not a nice person.
No, and I think that really kind of hammers home with every single crossover is that he's a big jerk at the heart of it. And in Kick-Assia, he was not the villain so much as just a jerk. And that's what people were angry about. And he goes over the... But in real life, Doug is such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He really was concerned about are you alright? And again, after this day of filming, he was concerned that people were just getting tired out and didn't want to do it anymore. And it was the complete opposite.
Oh yeah, we still want to do this. I love this mask. It doesn't belong to Suede, it belongs to one of Doug's friends.
Yeah, no, it's a great mask.
It's an awesome mask. I would love to have something like that for a character.
I think, too, Suede and his wife were there pretty much the entire day, and they were just waiting around for for this final part, and that was the last thing I think we filmed outside.
And the very clever touch is that his new outfit, it's made of suede components. It has a suede vest, a suede tie.
Yep, and the suede gloves and everything.
I'm an obstacle. It's the first person the critic's really, really nice to, because holy crap, it's Suede!
Yeah.
And half the people don't know who the hell he is.
Yeah, his was the only real sword. I mean, there was definitely a much bigger attention to safety in this shoot, because we were carrying around so many swords, we were carrying around so many potentially dangerous weapons, and, accidents do happen, but I think it also helps it that everybody's holding a plastic sword, so it just kind of belies the cheapness that we all are.
It helps once again bring up the fact that this is a farce. It is it's supposed to be a comedy spoof.
Right. And
even with its serious bits, and we will continue with that more in the next part. And we're back with part 6.
Part 6. Okay.
The first part that actually begins with Team 2.
Yep.
Team 2, Team B, it kept flip-flopping on what terms we were using. And oh my god, funniest line of the entire thing, my favorite line in this entire movie was Brad. That's not even a person!
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my...
Slam.
I can't remember if this was in the script or not, what Brad says here. Hi there.
God, Brad has such a sexy voice.
And the good background details, everyone's at first confused with what the hell he's talking about, but then when they start catching on quickly and they all smile and yeah! Oh yeah, that's totally why we're here. Come in, strange people dressed up in various costumes.
I don't know what she's so concerned about because her roommate is freaking Ask That Guy. You know, all sorts of debauchery must be going on in there.
They start digging in the hardwood floors.
I can't remember if I do recall everyone signing that piece of that duct tape blanket that we had.
I think that's probably going to be one of the things that ends up being sold from this.
Yep.
I think a few of the costumes are being sold.
Yep, and this actual basement is
Doug's basement.
Yep. But that was a different house that they came in on, so...
Yep. It's a dimensional warp zone.
Yep.
What is she doing in my house? God, he's so evil.
I know.
I think we're all just terrified of him. Oh, God. What's he going to do to us?
He's just so completely amoral. I think that's his character, but... This is the laundry room.
Looks like it's in there.
Does not contain the voice of the ancient world.
And they say, and Brad said that this was their most hated line. I think that line works perfectly well. Sure, it doesn't make any sense, but it's another Indiana Jones line.
Yep.
And he's into character.
And, too, that people were saying, oh yeah, I guess the angry video game nerd's not going to make an appearance in this one. It's like, just wait until it's over. He's here.
Guy loves working with us. We love having him, too. Yeah, what? It's always that contrasting thing. I think people were hoping that the voice would become like Navi.
Yeah.
I think this is funnier.
Yeah.
It's better to have it less. It's less generalized is better. If there was more specific, to have them be like specific references, I don't think it'd be quite as funny.
Yeah.
And so it's better to have just like a great light, a booming voice, just generic dark figures with swords. And actually, the cloaks are probably the closest you're going to get to a specific thing spoofing with the Nazgul.
Yep.
But this, just a grander fantasy at work, without actually being a direct parody of something, I think it works so much better.
Mm-hmm. And I think, they mentioned in the other commentary, but when we were actually at Daishokan, we saw the newest Harry Potter movie, or at least the part 1, and that was the one thing that really stood out amongst Doug was the writ.
There was a sequence with like animated, with like only like 3 or 4 frames of animation per thing of just like arms swinging and fighting, and it looked like, something you'd see out of a storybook.
Right, and if you look at that that's actually the sorcerer from 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons modified.
Well, what Doug says is that they were all originally redrawn by him, so it's very likely that he either traced it or drew or did a similar, or just used it as a reference posing.
It's pretty much, even features on it are very heavily influenced, because if you'll notice there, he's got like a spiky gauntlet on one hand and the other hand is kind of in a claw shape. Yeah, that's the sorcerer from
no, but it was traced or whatnot. We gotta replace the image then.
No, it's not traced, it's modified, but okay. If you look at it, you can definitely see the inspiration behind it. I forgot what that sorcerer's name is, but on the left arm there.
I don't know what that I don't know what that background material is that looks like aged paper. Like, what is that exactly? What does that affect? Did it just, like, scan a piece of paper really, really closely and just pan across it?
It almost looks like canvas. So maybe that's what it came from. But yeah, if you'll notice, too, in terms of continuity, that ring is purplish and Mati's ring is purplish. So, in that regard, they did hold the continuity well.
And, of course, everyone thought that the Star Sapphire ring meant that Spoonie was going to do it. It's better for this kind of thing that one character does not dominate over all others. Sure, the critic gets the most lines, but at the same time, it's a lot harder for Doug to pull that off and doing all that and directing it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And even then, it's because he's the leader, he's the one who brings us all together, and, well, I hate to admit it, but he is the most popular thing on the site.
No, he is that guy with the glasses, so...
It's his damn website, he can have more lines than us.
Right, no, and it makes sense. I think more so than anything, this production really showed just how the site has evolved, because pretty much from last year, there was one camera person, there was the one script, and it was kind of just one person had done. It was their pet project. It was Doug's pet project, and but more so than this year, it showed that we need to evolve a little bit, and we have evolved in turning multiple cameras, in assisting with directing, and assisting with some of the more major processes, because it's gotten to the point now where we want to have it more elaborate, but you can't do it with one person in less than a week to get it all filmed.
Grows into a larger
Exactly.
studio, larger project.
Right.
Just the evolution of the site. And it's good that there's change. It's good that there's growth.
Absolutely. And two, it showed last year it was just Bargo kind of doing his own thing but no, with Holly and I, we had scheduled times, we had we planned everything out, so people got to eat, people got to drink, and figuring everything out. I think for next year they'll actually have a caterer, which will be cheaper in the long run, and it would be, like I said earlier, nice to have on-site food and drink, because near the end of the day it was getting pretty
uncomfortable for everybody.
Well, yeah, everybody's worn out and tired, and it's nice to have some comfort food just to eat or not to munch on.
Come to think of it, this sequence was filmed on the same day we filmed all the beginning stuff in Doug's house originally anyway. This was... So I think there's little details like the fact that Spoonie hasn't pulled his hair, the hair back into a ponytail, and me on the couch snoring. I was tired just for some reason. I laid down, and apparently I snore, so whatever.
Oh, apparently you snore, yes. You do snore very loudly.
I'm sorry!
And actually, on that back wall where Ask That Guy is standing, I think his Rob's certificate of bartending. So...
Great intercutting here for...
Kidding me. back where we started! You can see the standing water. God, that field was muddy. I keep saying that, but yeah, it was...
It was rainy. There was like 2 days straight of rain. That's why we had to film on Easter.
Pikachu with the hat back there. The whole bar area is very, very well put together, and it's got a very nice decorating to it.
Everyone's running away. Oh, we gotta go. That look Lisa gives, like, yeah. Yeah, this has all been just a dream.
And then, bam!
Let's go! Dun 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 dun. The storm drain of secrets.
And this was I think the last main day that we were filming, and yeah, everybody was out. So we were outside in costume for a lot longer that day. So we did have people, honk car horns and honk and just like stop by and just kind of point and laugh a little bit.
I don't think as much as laughing. There was that group that was kind of picnicking and watching us.
Yep.
I was wondering if I was fearful that that pictures of this would end up online and someone eventually would come across this and like, oh, they're doing a fantasy movie, like, weeks before the trailer.
Yeah.
Let's see, what was I gonna say here? The weather was a lot better on this day. Sure, it was still the muddy, but in terms of like temperature and whatnot, it was a lot more enjoyable than the colder days.
Yeah, I think it was low 70s, so it was actually really good to film in.
Oh man! Hey, it's the internet critics! That voice.
You guys are awesome!
Yeah.
I think during one of the battle scenes here too, one of the styrofoam circles broke off or fell off of Phelan's costume there. So if and when that costume gets online for sale or something, you'll be able to see which one. But that was something that we kind of held like, hey, you're forgetting something. And again, this is right outside of Doug's house. This is right next door.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. I've been to his house a few times because I've been to the charity drive and for this, of course. And then he's like, "Okay, where are we going to do this?" I asked him, "Okay, where are we going to do this?" The outdoor field stuff. He's like, "Oh, it's like right outside." Like, what? I like walked past his house. How the hell did I miss this? This huge empty area. I was like, what the hell? How did I
Yeah.
never spot this?
I'm guessing the reason that nobody built on it is because it probably was a pond or something, because it's fairly low ground that has a lot of water in it normally, but... Yeah, the rain didn't help matters any.
And of course, this is where we start getting our continuities messed up. This would have all been so much better if we just said he was from, like, 85 or something.
Yeah. Whatever.
Whatever. It was a prototype. Mm-hmm. It was a special glove that eventually became the Power Glove. It's so bad. I'm Willow. What works about that joke is that like I said, not many people have seen Willow. So it's like he has to keep reminding people he is Willow. That's his character.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, originally I didn't realize it was a power glove. And it was just sitting in the basement of Doug's house.
I didn't want to get down in the mud with everybody, so I'm just kind of like looking around and we're like, oh crap, I gotta pretend like I know what I'm doing. You're not worthy, man.
There we are.
Da-da-da. Oh yeah!
And again, this was a very, very windy shot. So you'll see the witch. Yeah, she's holding onto her hat. We tried to shoot it where she was just normally, but it kept blowing off. The original shot too, where it pans over each one of the villains, she's kind of doing something like, and I wish we had kept that because it's hilarious. Oh God.
There was a different take of the line that I say to Mickey here. The scripted line is, of course, he's really getting into this. I thought it would be funnier if I said, and he's getting better at this. This is like the third inspirational speech he's given, and this is probably his best one. And it builds, once again, the evolution. He's actually getting good at giving motivational speeches. When in the original one, it was in the brawl, it was all like, people, I got nothing. Think of something from those Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, that's inspirational.
Yeah, you can see the wind there going at it.
It's beautiful. We're all wearing capes and stuff. It's badass.
But it is not this day.
There it is. Hope that alternate take ends up on the DVD.
Cool gizmos and technological toys that you hold dear.
Look to the sky. We're all excited. Reviewers of the internet!
And there Lupa goes. Woo! Yeah, this shot, I mean, we're all kind of just doing we're pumped and ready to fight thing, and I don't think they kept that shot with the witches too big, which is way too bad. I always thought he was kind of doing the in Chrono Trigger, Chrono's stance there.
Suede?
Yep. And I'm actually, I'm holding each one of those swords is technically a two-handed sword, and I used to do things with the Society of Creative Anachronism, which is a group of medieval enthusiasts that are national and international, and I did heavy weapons fighting, where you'd put on armor and fight with like rattan weapons, and I was running in the same way that you would with a two-handed sword, is that you hold it with both hands, and when you approach, you kind of hop up and use that force to pull it down, because they're very heavy weapons. So a single-handed, like holding it up in the air with one hand, you wouldn't get the momentum you would need to punch through armor. So in case you were wondering about that, there you go.
At least someone was being accurate with their fight stuff and sword breaks.
Yep.
Fights with the stump of a sword.
Yep, and it was completely ad-lib too. Initially, that he just pulled it out from pulled the other sword away from Mickey, and then we incorporated it into like a better, that was rehearsed. But initially, it was just he grabbed it and Mickey just looked really confused. People have said this like it doesn't look good, but really it's the only way you can do this without making it look absolutely silly. Right.
It gives it a very Saving Private Ryan kind of frenetic battle feel to it, and you can have the individual gags if you need to.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of what they did, and I have the power, awesome.
Fail.
You can see his underwear there. Whoops.
It works.
Yep.
Because we don't want to see the little Benzai.
No. And
Mickey's just like,
just
I got
standing there
this
next
now.
to Tom, going, whatever.
Action, Lupa!
Nom nom nom. It's funny how much biting there is in this.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Lupa was one of the few who did bring a jacket to our filming, and when this is she's
Poking her with the elven ear. Gotta love that.
yeah, Lupa actually did bring her leather jacket to filming the Team 1 stuff. So she was prepared.
With Phaelus, they're like moving around in that jerky spastic. Yeah, no, that works really well for the. I really did like that.
I like it whenever our blades clash and then there's a lightning bolt because it looks like there's like it's like we're wielding lightsabers or something.
Yeah.
It's cool. Rawr. And this, I can't remember if this was in the script or not. Just, I wanted to bring out the magic gun. Because I wanted to ditch the sword. Because I wanted to... Because for one thing, I'm not good with swords.
Well, partway two, they were starting to fall apart, because this is the last day of filming, really, that we had. And, yeah, viral video of the week. We said when we heard, "Launch me, Tom!"
I'm flying, Wendy! I laughed for like 5 minutes when I heard him say that.
Oh, handsome Tom. They only could do that one take, too, because apparently it was really difficult to do.
That was probably the muddy ground, plus Mickey is heavy, and...
Yeah. And it's probably tiring.
The slow motion stuff in the background, that's what sells this.
Yeah, Phaelus is just using his arm on it.
He's the rock biter.
Exactly.
He has super strong skin. He's that into character.
Exactly.
He doesn't feel it. It's like it's a psychological thing. I've heard of this before.
Yep. And there goes the critic with with Jaffers with the sword. And then back the other way. I always loved that joke. How did he get the sword? I don't know.
Apparently people did know that Lord Cat was going to be Crom because he recorded it on his stream, and
Okay.
but they were waiting for it, so that's good.
Crom. Yeah, what?
Well, your own battles, you wuss.
The hell with you?
Blooper.
Yeah, I think this whole sequence took several hours to fully film because they were doing various angles, various shots, various everything.
We move around a little bit. I think at one point I'd go to help fight the cat. Seriously, I had the Lord of the Rings music playing in my head. Rohan had arrived.
Stand alone. No, not alone.
Maybe we should go help him. To the critic! And, okay, here's the twisted irony, because, as I said, I love this movie. I think it's beautiful. It's a great work. But from a perspective of the people who were watching it, the people who thought that all the Team 1 stuff wasn't as good, but the Team 2 stuff was great, this is then symbolic of Team 2 coming and rescuing the movie.
Yep. Oh, God, that cucumber.
Yeah, was it a cucumber? I can't remember what he used. What he used for that.
They went shopping after that first night of that they got there. Yeah, and they were looking through what to get, and they initially went for potato, and then they went to cucumber.
I think cucumber worked better. Worked better than a potato would have.
It just looks like a freaking kickstand on him, you know.
I just want to flaunt what I've got.
To my fist. Exxon Petroleum.
I'm gonna whip this cat into shape. I love this bit. It's like,
Yeah, come on, bring it.
I would have liked it if there was like a crack of the bat sound right there. Home run for Proofion! Todd's underpants.
Yep.
We can't aim for crap.
Well, it's a machine gun from an action... And again, that's her actual jacket, and it just worked so well. Like, oh, screw this. So how did you get Cloak 2's gun? Never mind, just keep firing.
I'm sure Joe carries around multiple machine guns all over him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he just pulls it out of his back pocket, more or less.
Go back to the litter box!
Uh-oh, he froze.
Oh,
There
oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Sucker!
Hey, you're Slade. Yeah, here I am.
I just found the stone! And then we'll just stand here. I was wondering what they used to keep the stone on there, because like they pull it on and off a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. This is a great cliffhanger, though. I had totally forgot. By this point, when I was watching the rough cut, I had totally forgotten about this. And then just that slow pan to him and then end the part.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Then we will continue with the finale. And we're back with the finale of Suburban Nights.
Part 7. Okay, that gag's getting old.
Nonsense. It never gets old to do with the Plinkett voice. Yeah, this isn't gonna work for us. We need to leave.
If we're the best, or the Channel Awesome folks, they're the best that can stop the world from ending. Yeah, that's sad.
God, we are so screwed.
Yep.
This is a great effect shot right here.
Yeah.
Really builds the menace. Was great for the trailer too. Mm-hmm. But just like, oh sweet merciful crap, we are screwed.
Yeah, we're boned. We're screwed McDuck.
Malachite, the evil one.
Kill him. Okay, so we have to tell this story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when I was getting hit there, that was the first take we took where he kind of kicked my... The idea was that he would stomp the side of my knee, I would fall to my... I would fall down and then he would punch me in the face. Well, that first take he just kind of, looked like he kicked me, and so we reshot it. And the second take we took, where he actually stomped my leg, he literally did a downward stomp that landed squarely on my knee, so the full force of it went there. And I think the reason they didn't use it, because everybody was kind of going, oh, afterwards, and I was literally limping after that for almost a day.
And he was very apologetic about it.
Of course, it was a complete accident, and it wasn't intentional, but... that was like my last scene. I was inside after that, laying down because and putting ice on my knee because it wasn't nearly as bad. In Kick-Assia, you see how Rob fell and he really like messed his knee up, but it wasn't nearly that bad. But it still hurt to walk on. And I'm sorry, maybe it's the childish humor in this part, but
the crotch hitting.
The crotch hitting is just so damn funny to me. It takes...
I think what makes it so funny is that he does it over and over and over.
It's hard, especially if that you don't beat a joke to death into the ground, but... I just love... Whack! 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 It's the...
It's like Malachite's been waiting so long for this, he's just having fun. Oh no! Oh, wrong! Ow!
Pause, and then another one. Yep.
And fall down.
Yeah. So, I think this was we did the final battle, and then the last bit of the cloak stuff the next day, and that was when we were running across the field, and I was kind of hobbling for a little while there. Consequently, too, in that first battle in the field with the children's toys, equipment or whatever, we had Popeyes for lunch. I do recall that, and I didn't have to go get it.
I don't remember if he had changed the line in the script or not, but whatever it was, this was indeed a better line, good, bad, on the guy with the magic gun. Army of Darkness callback, which is another fantasy movie. We didn't use that one very often. My name is Amigo Toyota! I think
she just looks at him like...
I think that was ad-lib, too.
Yep.
The Amigo Toyota thing was completely ad-libbed.
Love Lupa's face. Like, argh! Lupa does some great mugging in her videos. Her surprised look, where she just kind of makes like an O with her mouth, like, oh! Yeah, that's... I've never seen that done without cracking up. And he just, well, I tried. Way to go, Spoonie.
Malachite's just so disgusted by, like, dude, you suck so much.
Think this is your plan?
Okay, no, I'm gonna...
Crotch. I'm sorry, that is so stupid, but so funny.
Okay, Reds itself, I think, yeah, that's all I got. I know, this is such a serious scene because we're getting our asses kicked, but man, it's just filled with laughs.
I think Nostalgia Critic mentioned that, like, if you notice, you'll see, Justin, the thrusting there. Come on.
How can you say this bit gets old?
Her and
This is
Justin,
hilarious.
kind of holding each other and kind of like, oh no, like they kind of hook up supposedly. I always kind of got that a little bit from her and Benzai's character because the two of them are always kind of next to each other and I think she did actually have a video where the two of like Arwen and Crom or Conan go on a date or something at Denny's. I don't know if that actually got released, but
Might be a DVD extra.
right.
Can't wait for the DVD. All the extra stuff that we did. How many takes did they do of Nella? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but
that's right. You were inside at the time.
the mincing that she was doing there, I heard was a little difficult because of that train. I know she wanted to kind of dance a little bit more. Oh, Nella. You're so excited just to get hit in the face.
And see, Nella's dress, of course, looked completely cheap and different from the wedding dress, but in these shots, I can't tell.
Like, ugh.
I completely cannot tell that it's a different kind of outfit.
But, yeah, I love the cheesy music there. Oh my. Yeah, Orlando, I think, is actually a black belt. There he is, and just, oh, screw this noise, I'm going home.
No, I think Shiva will get over it. We were all laughing our asses off at every time he did the Shiva stuff.
Crack! You gotta imagine how his testicles would just be butter by that point, if that was actually happening.
Now, of course, people were wondering about the cell phone thing, that it kind of cut away from his menace. I posted this theory on Spoonie's forum about this, that as much as he wants to deny the greatness of technology and how it's helped people, he's been living for what, 2,000 years now? He's had to have lived in a technological world, and as a result, this is showing the hypocrisy of his neo-Luddite philosophy. Mm-hmm. That simply you can't... it's just too difficult to live in this world without some form of machine, some form of technology. I mean, he's probably still had to eat, even if he was immortal. Mm-hmm. He's got to have had a place to live and move around, or else he'd be really stinky. And he's wearing designer sunglasses and a designer leather jacket. He's a hypocrite.
Yeah, exactly.
And he shows why this philosophy just does not work.
I really like Critic's response here. He's just, I can't handle this. He's just so disgusted.
What I love is that it's Justin who comes in, because Justin's always so nice and friendly. He's like, well, you see, a hypocrite is this. He's just so helpful. Even after he got blasted, he's still being nice to Malachite. Mm-hmm. Somebody else talk to him.
I can't handle this. Like, it's just so like...
My turn. Who says something, but then does something different. And it's shot again. No good deed ever goes unpunished. Mm-hmm. And of course, Bargo's big moment here, Mati rescuing the day. And as I was trying to say with the other commentary, is that it's not bad that it's predictable, because it follows a logical story structure. That the underdog comes to save the day, the one that nobody thought was going to save it. Maybe it's predictable. It's again one of those things where it might have worked better if they had viewed it all at once as a movie than in a miniseries, because it was predictable in that regard. But if you were watching it straight through, you're probably not thinking far enough ahead to realize that Mati would come back.
It's funny, if you watch Mati's body language, he's just coming out like this, pimp badass type. He's like, oh yeah, motherfucker. Just the way he
go to hell.
Like if he's got the goofy voice, but if you lose the goofy voice, he could be coming off as the supreme badass in this.
Well, there's only so far you can push someone before they finally just snap, and I think that's what happens here. Mati's finally had enough, and he's gonna prove himself, even if he knows he's gonna die.
What's the? I do like that or that line. What can Ted Turner? I've been fucked by Ted.
You can't hurt me any more than Ted Turner already has, and the Nostalgia Critic and his friends.
Which is hilarious.
Some say he was just some Indian guy who hated Ted Turner.
Oh God.
Malachi's actually taking him the most seriously, which is surprising.
For the longest time too, I actually thought Bargo's voice was like the Mati voice. And if you notice in the background, you've got the Jungle Gym equipment there.
That was flooded.
Yeah, it was flooded, but that's where we were kind of storing all the water and everything else that we brought out there. So we had to move it all for that one, for these shots here. But art. Yeah, I think the first time I saw Mati was like, "You're a dirty little kitty." Yes, you are.
Oh yes, you're a dirty little kitty. Super Spoony.
Yeah, plot convenience theater here. But there you go.
It's hilarious though, because now Spoonie's with the group, and we don't have to explain that.
I think and Spoonie was right. I'm glad they left Dr. Insano out of this, because I think it would have been it would steal the show a little bit too much, and it would also make Spoonie just renowned for
just being Dr. Insano. Yeah, I'm also glad they let them out of it. There really isn't any place for him in this. Like I said, it's a logical story structure of Mati being the one who saves them in the day. Saves the day. Right. Versus Dr. Insano, who would just be never mentioned previously before this.
Right. Dr. Insano in effect would become a big lipped alligator moment. If he was just to show up and do his thing. And besides, I think everybody else in just their cheesy, plastic swords and fake hair really do encompass the scientific, modern science interpretation anyway. So I think it works really well.
Exactly. Plus the machine guns.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, exactly. Eat my heart. I thought for certain they would use the joke, eat your heart, or eat your heart out, or something like that.
I would have done
eat my heart.
I would have done a callback to the brawl. Suck my big fat effing heart.
Yeah, exactly, or something like that. But it still works.
And hat.
I wonder if they're actually gonna eBay the hat too.
That's a very good question. I'm pretty sure that the costume was something that Doug put together, and it wasn't Orlando's.
Yeah, I think Lindsay was saying she wanted to eBay the dress too, but her dress is she never clean it.
Well, here's the thing: we were talking about this, and yeah, they want to eBay it without cleaning it, because people are weird and they'll take it.
Well, yeah, and it's also kind of adds credence to it. And I heard they actually smeared mud all over him.
It looks good. He looks dirty and beat up.
Yeah. But yeah, that's obvious. It's just people dabbed mud all over his face. Gotta hand it to both of them. I don't like mud on my face like that. It's a big disgrace. Something all over the place. We will rock it. Anyway, but yeah, no. And Doug here just he gets with Mati here grabbing his face. Yeah, he pulls his lip down, so you gotta taste the dirt that's all over his arm. So
it just goes to the strength of an actor here.
Uh-huh.
The performance does not stop.
Yeah, all over his lips there. Oh, ick. There he goes.
Oh.
It's funny too. Doug, everybody was saying he got so sunburned. But if in this shot, the sun is reflecting off his legs so much, they're so white, it looks like he's wearing tights.
Me in the Star Trek 2 uniform.
Yeah, that Quaker Oats canister was sitting in the kitchen the entire time we were filming. It was sitting next to the coffee box, the box of coffee that everybody was drinking from.
If you look at it, they actually drew glasses and a beard on it.
Yeah, and they were, storing stuff in there too. I think that's where we put all the makeup at the end of the day. It was in that canister.
We are gathered here today to pay homage to our honored dead.
Oh, Doug.
I kept repeating the Star Trek 2 music in my head while it was going on. would have preferred Pop-Tarts.
And Pop-Tarts, the running gag, too, of the secret of the universe, or the secret of... Is it Pop-Tarts? It's not Pop-Tarts!
It's not Pop-Tarts! We are together.
Yeah. Play that up a little bit.
What was so great about this was the sun was going down, so it felt like, the whole day had passed, and,
the aftermath.
it's a great image. It's a pity, though, that you can't quite tell that that's what's happening with the sun going down, but there's only so much you can do, but the lens flare helps with it, I think.
Oh, Spoonie's... that wig was so mangy by the end of it. Yeah, they were chemical fibers or whatever, so it had kind of the curl already in there, but the problem is that if you separate them, it gets really frizzy, and I think that's what was happening when he tried to, tie it behind him.
I have no idea what Sulu is actually saying at the end. It just, "It is!" So I just did whatever the hell it sounded like, and we did the present arms. I don't think I'm actually holding the magic gun in that last shot. I think I found some other weapon in Doug's basement that I decided to hold because it, I don't know why. I think it just fit better or something like that. So I just did that instead.
The Quaker Oats guy is just so... I always thought he was very unsettling.
He was the only man smiling.
This is actually kind of a really sad part with the bagpipes. It really just... That's why it works so well in the original movie.
Now we have the nostalgia critic's son coming in to tell him that how we deal with death is just as important as how we deal with life.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing.
Yeah, with all these, upcoming shots. I want to see whatever that is. With Lindsay and Juario.
Oh, that's from her Les Miserables review.
Oh, okay.
The one we were going to sing for, but you were unfortunately exhausted and couldn't sing with me.
Yeah, I was working, and I think all the times that you were planning on it, I was wanting to go to bed.
It's okay. I recorded it at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh.
That's just the knife. Right there.
know.
And he got the coffee. And the nostalgia critic has. He's beaten death before. I mean, how many times did he get shot in the head?
Mm-hmm. I really can't wait for next year. They're already kind of speculating, and
we're speculating.
We can't say anything, but
we don't know if it's the direction they'll go, but we have ideas.
Right, and following the, we've set a trend here, or at least I keep saying we, but the.
You're a part of my show, so you're a part of the site.
Well, Channel Awesome has really set a trend now where each year they set the bar higher. And even if you didn't really like the story or whatnot with this one, there's more of a budget behind it. There's more, it's a 2-hour movie. We have
putting
a
more
real
effort.
Story into it, and every single time we're raising the bar with it.
Okay,
So-
now here's for the real trivia hounds. At the end of my Ultimate Warriors workout video, at the end when the time-displaced Linkara returns, he's singing the Mati song.
Ah.
I was hoping someone would catch that, but so far no one has, so there's your trivia.
Yeah, it's that shot, especially when he's on the ground getting kicked. He really is just like this bitch that everybody beats on.
We did a couple different lines here, because I think with the angry look, one of the other ones was... I'll go now. I preferred, my work here is done. I'm just so oblivious. And, of course, one other alternate line I say, no one's found a cure for death yet. I did another callback to my show where I say, yeah, but Poyo's working on it. Dad, I don't think they've discovered a cure for that yet. But isn't there any hope? There was never much hope. Only a fool's hope. Unless you were out looking for the Necronomicon or something. There was never much hope. Unless you have a book that'll turn people into deadites and make them bleed cream corn.
Yep.
The Necronomicon is not a good idea.
No. I do like how it ends, though. Oh, I'm going to start another quest. Well, nobody's going to go with you. Who's left?
It bookends it nicely.
It does.
Who are you going to find to come on some random quest for something that may or may not even exist?
And then, yeah.
That look.
And just, the bum sitting out here. And then, oh, I gotta win a car. But yeah, that's probably where he would live, is out in the woods.
So, final thoughts on this movie?
The final thoughts are, I really do think this was an improvement over Kickassia. And not that Kickassia was bad or anything, but we definitely incorporated a story into it. It feels more professional this year. And in terms of somebody who is working along, the production end of it, they really have moved above and beyond what they originally started with. And it's interesting to see how the website itself is starting to evolve into a production company in some ways. So,
as a critic, watching this movie, I of course will nitpick the hell out of it. I'll pick out the little things here and there, and I'll just be all snobby and whatnot. But you know what? I love this movie. I love every part of this. I think it's hilarious, and I think it is definitely the best of the three anniversaries that we've done.
Definitely. And
I'm looking forward to trying to top this next year.
Absolutely. And the year after that, or however long it goes. But musical tracks from Music Loops. I wonder if they'll actually put out a
soundtrack album.
Yeah.
I think the thing with that is that there's like a licensing fees you have to pay to get the music.
I bet.
I mean, you just pay the flat fee, and then you can use it whatever the hell you want it for. But that's nice. I should actually look into that because I really want my own stuff, my own
you can include
rights-free
a couple.
That way, I can actually release stuff to a DVD.
Exactly, and do some show tunes.
Shut up, Bobby's on the rock.
Well, folks, thanks for listening, and thanks for watching such our newest magnum opus from
Channel Awesome. Thank you all. Couldn't have done it without you.